The people. I know you're not used to seeing me, but my name's Levi, and I'm here today to interview two great artists. We got my brother Josh here. You know him. He's the reason why all of this is going down. And we got Medgina here, and she's a wonderful harpist, an educator as well. She educates. Not only does she do great work herself on the harp, but she also teaches her students how they can find their way on that same instrument. And Josh is a wonderful therapist, as well as obviously a concert curator. And just the industry professional, second generation that is, right? Got to put some respect on his name. He come from a line of that. So I'm here today for this very special episode of Behind the Jawn, and we are going to have a great time getting to know these two bright artists.
Thank you for that introduction. It feels weird being in this seat and not in that seat. You did justice to the people, though. You hit that. Matter of fact, I just want to do it too. I'm sorry. The people. 'Cause I can't not get it out. My fault.
Yo, you gotta let the king do it. You gotta let the king get in there.
Appreciate it.
All right, so we just want to get to know you a little bit. So I have some questions that I'm going to ask between the two of you, and just to get an understanding of how you flow and operate as artists. First, we're going to start with Josh. Your poetry often feels rooted in lived experience and cultural memory. Mm-hmm. What first drew you to poetry as a vehicle for telling the truth of your inner world?
That's a great question. So I wrote my first poem in the 5th grade. It was called Invisible Man, and it was inspired by a piece that was on one of my dad's artist projects. So my dad, like you said, I'm a second generation. My dad was at the time managing this artist named Jafar Barron, phenomenal trumpeter. And there is a piece that has spoken word, and I was like, oh, I can do that. So 5th grade, Mr. Moran's class, and he's like, y'all got to write a poem. So I took a line from that poem, like every great artist, I stole a little bit, and then I built a thought out from there. And I think it was the first time I remember standing up in front of people and feeling confident, feeling seen, being able to express myself emotionally and it be accepted. So that was the draw, that I'm allowed to be as authentic as I need to be in that moment, and people rock with me during it.
Okay. Just a follow-up to that. Were there people, other people that you mentioned some, other people, places, or moments that helped shape that particular decision outside of that?
Man, there's a lot of people, places, moments. I think when I think about poetry, it's not just poetry. I think you said the cultural experiences. So I think about my Grammy having me on the train back and forth to museums and walking into her. She lives in a row home in West Philly, and walking into her sun porch and seeing books all over the place, and that being like a core experience. I think about my mom's grandmother and the stories that she told me. So she would literally just sit and tell us stories as if she was reading a book. And I think that really developed the storyteller element of me. My dad introduced me to hip hop at such a young age. So listening to Public Enemy, listening to Kool Moe Dee, listening to Tribe Called Quest. So they're just like key moments. And then my mom, low key, she wouldn't, I don't know if anybody knows this about her. She's a poet. So knowing that she had poetry books in her nightstand, knowing that was a quiet part of her, that every once in a while she would tell us that she wrote. I think all of those things kind of came together to influence this specific part of me.
Okay. All right. Medgina.
Yeah.
You often speak about pushing beyond the music on the page to create an experience. What does experience mean to you when sound becomes storytelling?
Yeah, so when I perform, I like to create an intimate space for my audience so that they can feel the emotion as well. I'm a classically trained musician, so I work with a lot of music that's already written, a lot of music that's from really old. So when I'm playing it, I have to bring it into my today and what it means to me. And for me as an artist, I aim to translate that to my audience. That gives them the room to feel the emotion to the hurt, whether it's pain, it's love, happiness, joy, sadness. With all the chords that I'm playing, I just aim to share that with them. So taking it off the page and really creating an experience in the room. So, yeah.
Okay. And now, how do you know when you cross over from just the music to actually a narrative that's being conveyed through the music?
When I see it reflected on the faces of my audience. And I like to play with the space that I'm in. So in performances, you'll often see me moving around in the space, or having artists who are coming from the back of the room, walking to the stage, with mics, without mics. And that's all to create that experience, and so that you feel the power and the impact of the words or the chords that I'm playing. So yeah.
Okay. It's good. It's really good. Now, Josh, back to you. As the founder of the County Jawn, you've created more than a platform. You've created a community. How does the spirit of community shape the way you write and perform?
That's a great question. I write with me in mind first. So what am I going through? What am I trying to say? What do I need to release? But when it comes to performance, I perform with the audience in mind. So I don't perform anything that I haven't worked through. So if I'm talking about divorce, or if I'm talking about a traumatic situation, or if I'm talking about love, it's something that I feel comfortable being in front of people about. And then at that point, I want it to be something that is easily translatable, something that you can walk away with. I think as a poet, as a person who grew up loving hip hop, my natural inclination is to write complex. Like, I want people to be like, yo. And then I've learned that that's dope for me. Like, I have things in my book that's like yo moments. On stage, I want you to be able to get it without having to think too hard. I want it to be oh, that makes sense. Because that accessibility is what allows it not just to be impactful, but allows people to understand. It allows for people to engage more. And that part of the writing, I think, is more impactful than just trying to be the dopest with the pen. I want my audience to really connect with what we're saying. And then I try, when I'm crafting a set, to craft themes that people can identify with. So when I talk about love, or when I talk about heartbreak, when I talk about political topics, I want it to be readily identifiable. I see that, I understand that, I can lean into that.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Medina, you mentioned that the music you play can tend to be older, more classical, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the questions I wanted to ask is that, being as though the harp is frequently associated with tradition and elegance, what excites you about placing it into the conversation with contemporary spoken word?
It's showing the instrument in a different light. And harp is not just classical, for jazz, contemporary, all of that. And it's a way for people to experience the instrument in its elegance and its power. I associate the instrument a lot with power, because while it is beautiful and elegant, it's a beast. It's a beast to play, and it's just beautiful in that way. So, yeah. I think I answered your question.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great.
Low-key gave me chills. She was like, it's a beast to play. I was like, ooh.
That's exactly how I felt when you said that. Because again, we associate the harp as kind of more gentle and more, pristine. And, anytime I've ever seen a physical harp, I've always felt like, man, that's almost like a museum piece. I want to get near it, know. But for you to describe it as a beast is such a great imagery. And so I appreciate your perspective on that. Go back to Josh. What shifts when the poem enters the room instead of a page?
I think the energy shifts, the intention shifts. So on the page, it is very much for me. On the page, it's about what I think, what I feel, what I'm going through, exactly how I wanted to say it. And then when it comes to stage, there's an intention of how does this impact people that is listening to it. And if you've seen me multiple times, you know that I do the same piece differently depending on the room that I'm in. So that's one of the things that Wayne points out. Wayne will point out, like, yo, doesn't that usually go this way? And I was like, yeah, but I'm in the room today and I noticed this, or this artist that went before me was talking about this topic, so I was able to add this line to it. So on page, it's about me. It's about what I'm experiencing, what I want to get out of my head. On stage, it's about what I want the audience to feel. What story am I trying to bring you into? What world am I trying to bring you into?
Okay. That's good.
The people! We are excited to be sponsored by the law offices of Diane Barr. With compassionate and professional service and over 30 years of experience, you want to trust your care to professionals. Whether it's Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy, they are phenomenal and they are working to get you back together. So check the link in our description for more information and meet us there on June 20th so you can get your service done together.
I want to ask for you, Medgina. You were the inaugural recipient of the Ann Hobson Pilot Award. How did receiving that award make you feel at the moment? What did that recognition ignite or stoke in terms of your vision, dream, and passion for the heart?
Oh man, that moment was so special to me. And there's a video out there, and I'm crying, and I felt all of those emotions 100%. Ann Hobson Pilot graduated from my alma mater, the Philadelphia High School for Girls, and I didn't know about her before I went to school and started playing the harp in high school. It's where I picked up the instrument. So from that first day of just learning that the instrument was there, that it was a possibility, she's always been someone I looked up to. My journey with the harp is not the typical story that you hear from other harpists. I started really late. It was the first instrument I picked up. So from the beginning, it was always me sort of playing catch up. And when I was a junior, I was like, I think I want to do this for my life, so I'm going to do it. And going through undergrad without a harp, working really hard, working part-time jobs, staying in the practice room for hours and hours into the night after going to classes. So all of that hard work to get to the point where I'm almost giving my senior recital, and Ann Hobson Pilot is on the screen, just believing in me and giving me that push and that confirmation that I am where I'm supposed to be. So it was a very special moment for me, and I still feel the impacts of it today. I mean, it's just, she's a phenomenal woman. She was one of the first African Americans to be in a national symphony orchestra, and so she played with the Boston Symphony Orchestra for 40 years, and so such an inspiration and someone I looked up to so much. So having that confirmation from her really solidified my place in this industry, in this space, and just let me know I am supposed to be here. So there were a lot of tears. There was so much relief also, lot of joy, and I got my baby Eve, my harp out of it. So it was just, yeah, so absolutely amazing moment for me.
That is great. That is wonderful. That's such a great story of how the encouragement comes at the right time.
Yeah.
And so you needed that to affirm and confirm the direction you were going in.
Yeah.
And so I really love the story. I was it's funny. I sent the video to Josh. I said, "Why is this making me emotional?"
It is.
You know,
a very emotional day.
It is like I'm just looking at. I looked at the video as a representation of endless possibilities.
Yeah.
And particularly in our communities,
Yeah.
where we limit ourselves.
Yeah.
And so just your presence, like you said, having the representation before you to basically affirm you, and then now you're in a space where you can do the same thing.
Yes.
And so it's necessary so that our children, and not even just children, other adults can see that there are endless possibilities. There's no one size fits all. We can all go in different directions. We can all take up things that we never imagined we could take up.
Yeah.
How do you get the harp around?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's a great question.
Fun.
I've asked the same question.
So I have a dolly
Okay.
that I wheel it around on. I couldn't move it very far without it.
Okay.
I'm able to pick it up. grown to be very strong playing the instrument because, again, she's a beast.
Yes.
So I have a dolly that I wheel it around on. If I have to take stairs, it's on the dolly, definitely, and that's where the muscle comes in. As like getting it to gigs and things, I just need an SUV, and if the middle seats lay flat, I just lay her down in there, close the trunk, and drive away, and it's
Okay.
So
Seems like you got it all figured out.
oh yeah,
So that's
it's been
good. That's
a
really
long
good.
time.
Josh, you've been around the industry.
I have been.
You've seen many different artists of different genres and levels, abilities. How has that shaped you as an artist yourself, and then also as a curator of concert series?
Yeah, that's a. I mean, most of my life I've been in and around the industry. So some of my first memories are in the backseat of my dad's 1994 Honda Civic, getting back and forth to gigs, or second floor studio apartment, or not apartments, second floor apartment studios, or watching him put together shows. So I've always been in it. I think in terms of how it has impacted my curation, I believe that Philly is the dopest city in the world for music. I think from musicians to artists, to rappers to poets, we have so much talent here, and being able to move in and out of those spaces, being able to be in a space where it's just a poetry space, and then being able to walk into a jam session where it's just people playing, then being able to walk into concerts. I fell in love with the artistry of this area and really wanted to highlight that. And I think I just see a lot in the artists here. I see a grit in the artists here. I see a determination. I think obviously the Philly soul and the power in which we bring to the mic is a thing. So I think this place and being around it for so long has made me fall in love. I think I consume music differently than other people. Y'all have known me, so Levi and then the GOAT behind the camera, Wayne, have known me forever. So y'all know that I've always listened to music differently. I've always listened to like what would make him say that, or I don't know if that was a good business move. He shouldn't be talking about that. Or so even at a young age, I think I've consumed it as both a fan, but also thinking about the business behind it. How are they marketing this artist? What is this thing here? Well, what value is he bringing to the community? So having both of those, being an artist and knowing the space of artistry, but then also seeing the business, has given me a really interesting perspective of not just what we do on stage, but how we prepare to get to stage, how we prepare to get to recording as well. And at the end of it, like I said, it just made me really fall in love with both sides of this.
It's good. That's really good. Now I want to move into the collaboration.
Yes.
Simply put, how did this come about? I want both sides, So let's start with you, Medgina. How did this come about based on your account?
So I worked as a server at the Pyramid Club in the city, and I got to meet a lot of amazing people there, and I met Rodney, who is Josh's father, and he told me about this amazing show called The County Jawn, and I was like, this is amazing. Of course, I would love to come. And I went to that first show, and it was with Jamaica, and I fell in love with the entire production. It was absolutely phenomenal. I think how many shows have I been to? Was it 2 or 3, perhaps?
That was we're on show 7, and that was show 4.
Yeah. So, and I just kept going, and each time just being like, I need to be on that stage. I really want to be on that stage. I mean, just it's a beautiful mission, and the execution was just phenomenal. And I loved being in the space. It just felt like such a supportive space. The audience was amazing. The artists were absolutely amazing, so talented. So it was just something I've always wanted to be a part of. And was just so grateful to be in the room each time that I was in the room. So now that this has come about, it is such a surreal moment for me because I get to be on that stage, and I'm really excited for it. So yeah, so my first connection with the County Jawn was through Josh's father, and then of course I met Josh at the County Jawn, and we always just, spoke briefly, but in my mind I'm like, I hope one day I can be a part of this just amazing show. And we finally got to do it.
Yeah, we're here now.
So, yeah, it's very, very exciting.
That's good.
Yeah. So, very similar. My dad met Medgina, and he came home. He's like, yo, I met a harpist. I was like, a harpist? Like what were you doing where you met a harpist? And anybody who knows my dad is... literally one of my favorite people. He's forever pushing the County Jawn. Like, we don't have to have a show coming up for him to be like, you need to come to the County Jawn. He has a trademark line. He probably said it to you at some point too. Is you have some place to be, whatever the date is.
Yeah.
So then he's literally telling people they have to come. So he tells me Medgina's going to be there, and it's the Jamaica Bay show. I actually didn't perform that show, so I had a little bit more energy. And I'm in the back selling books. Medgina comes up, introduces herself, and we're talking, and I get picked off, right? Somebody's like, hey, Josh, like, this thing's happening, because I'm still curator, I'm still business person, so I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. And I never came back. And then the next show, the same thing happens. My dad tells me, hey, Medgina's coming. I'm like, bet, I got to make sure I talk to her. End of the show. I think I might have made my way up to Medgina that time. We're talking, and somebody's like, hey, something's happening up in the dressing room. We got to go. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be right back. I still didn't come back. And then the third show, we meet in the back of the room. I don't even think I said I'm going to be right back this time, but I said, hey, we should collaborate. Like, let's see if we can make something work. So that's us meeting. In terms of this particular collaboration, I've been in a space as an artist where I want to do more than poetry. I want to do storytelling.
Gotcha.
And in the brief conversations that I had a sense that Medgina is also a storyteller. So I'm thinking like, all right, how do I tell stories? Medgina had her was it your graduation recital?
Yeah. For Master.
And she invited my dad. She invited me as well, but I got caught up at work. And my dad comes home, and he's like, she needs to be on the stage.
Oh.
He was like, she did a Nina Simone piece. There was a poet that came out of nowhere from the back. Like, he's like, this is amazing. And I was like, yo, I've been really wanting to expand as well. So I'm driving, and I'm like, actually, I can't remember if I called you first or if I texted you first, but I was like, let me do it while it's on my mind. Because if I don't ask while it's on my mind, it's going to be 2 weeks before the show, and then I'll be like, do you want to do it? So that's how we got here, was just, I think we had both been in the orbit. She's been one of the people, and we've made sure that we've talked, and then it was just a commitment to let's actually carve time out to work together.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I like both perspectives. Mm-hmm. Follow-up question to that is, how did it feel when you first began to the process of working together? Like, what did it feel like when you finally got through maybe one piece together and all was kind of there for you to look at, analyze, appreciate? What did that feel like?
It was, for me, it was super cool. I was really nervous that first meeting because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a performance for me. I have to, really be on it. And then we started working, and it was just beautiful to witness his artistry up close. Mm-hmm. And I've had the opportunity to work with maybe 2 poets before, and I love to do it because I feel that I speak through my instrument. There's nothing like words, and music with words is something that's one of the most powerful things. So it just felt good, and it was great. So after that first rehearsal, I remember I couldn't stop smiling either, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. So it was really cool to witness his artistry up close and see how we can create something together and just get the process started. So
She made that sound nice. I was intimidated.
Really?
So we meet up after work. I come into the room. There's a big harp sitting there. I find out that the harp's named Eve. Medgina starts talking. She's using music terms. I'm like, I don't know any of this. I'm like, hold on, what does that mean? And I'm not saying what it's mean. I'm like, yup, yeah, definitely. Yup, that's staccato. Yeah. That's what we gonna do. And then we started, and it was what she said. It was beautiful, but it was strong. Mm-hmm. And my favorite moment, I don't remember if this is our first rehearsal or our second rehearsal. We had been putting pieces together, and she's playing beautifully, and I'm doing poetry. And then we're like, what happens if like we don't do that and like just play what you feel to what I'm saying? And we did it, and it stopped. It was like one of those moments where you look at each other and like, that's how you do that.
Yeah.
What's the Bad Boys, Jawn? When
I get my next partner. Yeah. You need to shoot just like that.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
I was like, I didn't know I could be this aggressive with the harp, but that's how you do it. And it I think from that moment forward, I think that was rehearsal too. I was like, okay, it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. Now it's powerful. Yeah. So it's been a phenomenal process.
Okay. Now my question is, are you doing pieces that you've already written, like your original pieces currently, or are y'all creating new things together?
Well, let's see. So, I'll speak on your idea of viewing your art as living. Yeah. So there's a lot of pieces that he's already written.
Yes.
But we're telling a story, so we're making amendments to it. So there's some parts that I'm writing that I may or may not be speaking. Just to tell the story that we're trying to convey to our audience. So there is a foundation, but we're still creating. With me on the music side of it, there's some classical pieces that I'm playing. There's some arrangements that I'm doing, and there's also some original music that I'm just creating myself. So yeah, there's a mix.
Oh, we're not answering past that. If y'all want to know what we do, hold on, my camera. If you want to know what we're doing, June 20th, buy your ticket. Make sure you're there.
You heard it. Yeah. You heard it. I like that. So you mentioned, I did hear a little inkling of you may be speaking. We don't have to go into it, may or may not be, but I do like that because it shows that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, or possibly stepping outside of your comfort zone. But again, the king said,
June
we ain't going beyond that. We ain't going beyond that. Can you name a moment out that was unexpected inside of the process of you all creating? You name a moment that was like, you know what? I know you mentioned saying, hey, be a little more freed up about your approach. Don't necessarily we don't have to lock and step everything in written music per se. Is there another moment that was very unexpected to you that was like, oh wow, like, okay, this is really more than just a moment thing. This is like something that lasts beyond the space and time.
Let's see. You want to take this one first?
Yeah. I think the entire process for me has been that way. I am often amazed when phenomenal artists are so easy to work with. Medgina is a phenomenal artist. And I think it's important to be stated that I'm sitting next to a classically trained artist on a very prestigious instrument that plays with orchestras. So the process of like me pulling out my book and reading a poem, she's like, that's great. It's like, oh snap. Like there's a lock in there. And the respect that we have for each other's art has been the oh wow moment that I didn't know what to expect from. I had a pretty good sense that Medgina was dope people just based on some of the people that she's around. But I didn't have so much what to expect in terms of the artistry of working with you. And for you to be so welcoming, so open, that's been the moment for me that has been even beyond the art. That's like the highlight of some of my Wednesdays when we're rehearsing together. It's like, oh, I'm about to go create with somebody who's really dope to create with.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. I think you're a phenomenal artist. And I was completely like captured by his poetry. And I just think I guess I work with my music all the time, so sometimes it just becomes normal to me. So seeing someone else do something completely different, and just the way you have with your words, I just think it's phenomenal. So I was sitting in that chair listening to him read and being like, this is amazing. This is so cool. But yeah, working with you has been absolutely lovely. Also, the highlights of my Wednesdays, and I get to experience a sense of freedom that sometimes being in my space doesn't allow for. So really letting go and just creating is really it's amazing. And so yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
The people. Can I tell you a story really quick? So I was working with my Grammy recently, and she really needed to get her estate together. And that's where the law offices of Diane Barr came in clutch. She not only organized, not only made her feel safe, but she did everything that we asked her to do in a timely manner. So if you are looking for a phenomenal lawyer with 30 plus years of experience, tap in with the law offices of Diane Barr. Their link is in our description.
This is good for both of you all, right? I'm wondering, how does what each of you do help you with your pacing, help you with your breathing, and for you as far as your delivery, and also your delivery and how you're choosing your spots of where there may be some pauses and silences, or where there may be, something where there's an overwhelming presence of the heart. How is working off of each other determining when you take those places?
Yeah, I'm going off of the words that I hear, because the music is also super important, but the speaking aspect of it really is what I feel will stick with people a lot. So when I'm creating around the story that we're telling, the words that are being said, and that's how I determine when to take space, when to beef up the texture, when to take it into those different minor keys and things of that nature, when to take those pauses, those breaths. So yeah, I base it off of the words. So
I think that's fair. I think I've been trying not to think about the music because I don't know what texture in the heart is. I just know it when I hear it. So a lot of the process has been trying to slow down so I'm listening to what's happening as I'm doing it. And as I'm listening, it is helping the next time we run this through, what emotion do I want to bring to this? So it's a dual process that we do it and I'm listening, and then the next time, I can slow down a little bit. I can pause a little bit more. And just the openness in that process of, I know I don't have to get it right the first time, and because I don't have to get it right the first time, it's made me be able to not have to perform. Like, I can really figure it out in the space, and I think that's been beautiful as we're creating this.
That's great. That's great. What I'm hearing is there's a conversation happening, right? And the audience is going to get to be a fly on the wall, so to speak, in that conversation. With that being said, what do you hope to convey from that conversation to the audience?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm trying to answer that question without giving away too much of our story. I want people, for the time that we are on stage, to be fully present, and allow yourself to take a moment to feel the feelings, to be transported to wherever it brings you. The rest of the night, you can dance, you can move around, you could talk to your friends, you could talk back to the performers, but for that time, just allow yourself to get into, for lack of a better term, a time machine, and allow it to take you to wherever it takes you, and feel the feels and go through the experiences with us.
That's good. You want to chime in on that one?
I think he said it.
Okay, fair enough.
She was like, he's the poet.
So looking forward, right? How has this I would say, how has this collaboration changed your perspective on each art form?
Mm-hmm.
I think it made me appreciate it a lot more. And I've always loved poetry, but I don't have that connection that you have with it, growing up with it. So it really just, I have deeper respect for it. And I always have, but seeing the work up close is, you just can't compare that experience. And so, yeah, I just appreciate it a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was quiet for a minute because I was thinking about, I don't think I've ever seen a harp in person prior to the first time we rehearsed, and how beautiful that is, but also like how accessible this can be, that it often feels like there are certain things that are off limits to us, and us based on race, social economic status, access, and how this has been something that has like opened up a door that I then also opens up doors for other people as they're sitting here to know a harpist and then to sit in a room with a harp. And you said something earlier that was a joke. It does feel it feels like your grandmom's good china. Like, I be super careful when I'm in the room. I'm like, I ain't gonna look at it too hard. But it's just that I think opening up that door and then seeing because oftentimes when you think of the harp, you think angelic and soft, but being up close and seeing Medgina play, and the amount of strength it takes and the amount of breath control it takes, the amount of coordination, because obviously she's working her hands, but I didn't know harps had pedals. Like,
I'm dancing back there.
Yeah, so she's working the pedal. So even like the physicality that goes into playing the harp, I wouldn't have known based on the images of the harp that I've gotten up until this moment.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, I'm sitting here now and I'm seeing angels and meadows and like I'm seeing very, very like beautiful things, and I love that you brought that into the conversation of the power behind it. And so that's such a wonderful, like I said, imagery, and something that it changed my perspective. So I'm looking forward to this myself, being able to see the collaboration in real time and be present, like you said. I'll be leading by example so that the rest of the audience can do the same thing, be very present and really pay attention. So what possibilities do you see next? New sounds, new stories, new spaces? What do you think is next for this particular collaboration?
I honestly think all of that.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to, right now we're creating something. We have the foundation. We have some things that we've both brought in to this project and we're building upon. It would be really cool to do something where we just start from complete scratch. And
I like the challenge.
So that would be awesome. Yeah, new sounds, new spaces. Would love to continue this. It's wonderful working with you, truly. So.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think in addition to that, recording and releasing. So we talked about this at the onset of our process, and this happens for every County Jawn. So if y'all don't know, every artist that comes on the County Jawn, they get a live recording. So a multi-track recording that they are able to release. One project has been released from the County Jawn up until this point, which is Playlist by Synovia. And the hope for this in the short term is that what we record will be ready to be digitally released. That way the people and other people can listen to it consistently. And then I also agree. I think we came in with a foundation of, I had written, Medgina had pieces that she had already written and arranged, but it would be cool to see what happens if we just come in fresh. Like there's not a deadline of we're getting a project to this point, we're just creating. And then what happens if we bring in more people? So you were talking about bringing in the band for one of the pieces.
Yeah, that would be super
And what would it be if we could do that at some point?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It sounds great, and I'm always thinking expansively, so I could definitely see y'all taking the show to an even higher level and on the road, just the two of y'all, and incorporating other acts. I'm visionary, so I'm just thinking like you going to different cities and incorporating other acts from that particular city to join in their own way, but being able to take that particular collaboration and move it around, so that other people can experience it in real time. Because it's one thing to see or hear the recording; it's another thing to see be in the space and shut everything. Because when we're listening to music, a lot of times we got other stuff going on. We're cleaning, we're driving, we're whatever. But if you can get into the space, that's what I'm looking forward to.
That presence.
It's the presence and being in the space and having that music all around you, almost like a hug. But this has been a great time. I appreciate the opportunity to step into the captain's chair for a minute, and pilot this thing. I want to jump into a lightning round. This is just a real quick, questions that, right off the top of the head, I want to know what your idea or thought is on it. So the first one, and both of y'all can answer, is who or what is your biggest inspiration?
I'm going to go first, Black folks. I think we're just dope. I think being around us always gets me. So whether I'm on the train and I write something or I interact, I think looking at us and seeing us consistently has me inspired.
Okay.
I would, without giving too much away about, I guess, my favorite artists, Black women. I've been lucky to have a lot of amazing Black women in my life who have supported me and pushed me to be to where I am today. And there's women in this music industry like Nina Simone, who I absolutely adore, whose artistry is just unmatched, and just her life and the way she was as a person and what she did for her community, and where I'm so inspired by them. So yeah,
it's good. That's really good. Next question: if you could share the stage with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Nina Simone.
Nina Simone.
That was quick.
I figured that's what the answer was going to be.
Quick. You know what the funny thing is? I wouldn't go a poet or an artist. I would probably go with an intellectual. I would love to share a stage with Malcolm X.
Powerful.
Yeah.
You are very like-minded in that way. That's good. Next question. And this is, I'll ask it in a way that you both can answer. So, what is your favorite piece to perform? And for you, what is your favorite song to perform, whether it be a cover or original?
There's a classical piece called Chanson de la Nuit by Carlos Salcedo, who was a harpist, very old piece. And it's a very special piece to me because it was the piece that took me up to maybe like 5 levels when I decided that I wanted to do this for a living and take college auditions. I remember practicing that piece until my finger was literally purple. It was kind of concerning. But it's one that anytime I pick it up, it's like riding a bike, and it always just feels really good to play, because it's not your typical straightforward classical, scales that you hear. It's talking about the nighttime and what it's like to be in the night. So there are things that go bump in the night. So there's a lot of extended techniques that I use on the harp, which is very cool. I love to perform it because people are always so intrigued. But it's also so good. It feels really good to perform, and it's a special piece for me. So, yeah, check that out.
What was the question again? I got so caught up in Medgina's answer.
That was a really good answer. And very interesting. The question was, what is your favorite piece for you to perform?
My favorite piece. Ooh. All right. So, the good Christian in me should not say this, but Raptured is my favorite piece to perform. But I really like the crowd interaction. So the crowd doing the Isley Brothers Back With Me, the oohs, the ahs, the people not expecting which direction I'm going to take it. That's probably my favorite piece to perform. Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry about it. You're a good Christian. You still a good Christian.
Good Christian man.
You still a good
My man of God.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Last one. What's one word that you want the people to say when you're done performing?
Wow.
That's funny. That's my word too. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
So,
I love it. I love it. Simple and straight to the point. Yeah. Well, I'm sure just based off of what you shared today that the people will be, or the people will be very wild walking out or walking into the next performance. So I appreciate you all sharing your time and sharing this particular podcast behind the Jawn with me today. We learned a lot about you all. All of it's great. So now when we get to hear you all together, we will have a very good foundation for where it is all coming from.
Yes.
Very excited.
So join us on June 20th at Ardmore Music Hall. You have Inglorious, Synovia, Dan Good, and Josh and Medgina. Now you have somewhere to be.
Just there.